So the next movie, you have Lovecraft Country on here. I think this is the one that we've done a trailer for already,
Yeah, so we actually did a review of the first
or a
trailer that came
review.
out for it, which was pretty ominous, to say the very least. But this is another trailer that just dropped for it, and it's a HBO series actually. That's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
series.
that's coming out on HBO. So again, just a quick synopsis, and we're not going to do the whole rigmarole like we did last time, but just to give you the quick synopsis, a young African American travels across the U.S. in the 1950s in search of his missing father. This is directed or created by Misha Green and written by her as well as Matt Ruff and also Jordan Peele, who actually I think is executive producing this along with J.J. Abrams. He wrote one, I think, episode for this, and it stars Jonathan Majors, Journey Smollett Bell, and Courtney B. Vance, as well as Michael K. Williams, and is due out August of this year. I thought this trailer, I was kind of debating on whether we should talk about it because we talked about the other one, but I feel like this one uh, gave us a little more, than we got in that initial trailer, and let us know a little bit more about the story and what's going on. And is It was really interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like we said in our initial review, I think this movie is interesting based off of the time that this is placed in, but also like we're getting a huge new element here so this isn't just a story about like racism in the Deep South. So just to add a little bit of context to the synopsis you gave, so adding on to the fact that he's like embarking on this journey for his father who went missing in Georgia in the 1950s. So this like in this show, like he's going to begin this struggle to survive, overcoming both like racist terrors in white America, as well as terrifying monsters that could be ripped from a Lovecraft paperback. So again, there's like the 1950s Deep South, racism and race wars that are going on down there, and then you add in this element of like these like monsters who like live in the woods. Really interesting, very unique. Like I haven't really seen much like this.
Yeah,
And the second trailer definitely was a lot better than the first. Gave you a little bit more story.
yeah. And it was, I found it really interesting because, again, like Lovecraft is, he was a writer from back in olden time. I forget exactly what years he was actually writing. I think early 1900s. He was a writer back then. And he's really into like this surrealist kind of imagery and things like that in his stories. And This story, I don't think it comes directly from him. I think it's a story that somebody else wrote. And I could really easily look this up, but I choose not to. I choose to revel in my ignorance. And so yeah, and so it's gonna be, and this trailer actually makes me a little more excited to see sort of what the mashup is of those worlds, right? Of these sort of like surrealist monster sort of depictions, along with the idea of racism of that time period of the 1950s. And what a time for this to potentially come out, right?
Yeah.
In the face of everything that's happening in reality right now, with the world. So I'm sure HBO is just like, yo, release the trailer now, release another one.
Yeah.
Because they sensed the mood, and knew that this would catch a lot of people's eyes, especially at this particular moment in time. So, anyways, I don't want to belabor it too much, but definitely looking forward to Lovecraft Country. Looks really dope. It looks really interesting. So we can keep it pushing with